Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2. Let me introduce to you. In the top left, the dragon scales the #1 Protoss in the world right now. It's the mysterious MaxPax's, the Twilight Toss. On the other side, the #1 Terran in Europe, the Frenchman from Team Liquid. It is Clem. Quite a matchup we've seen several times over this year and years before. Probably the best micro players in the region, and arguably the best of their race in the world. So I expect drama, aggression, and pretty much the best you're gonna get in the Terran versus Protoss matchup. And one more thing I expect is you to like and subscribe if you haven't made it that far yet. What did I ask for last time? Jimmy, 1,010. I'm gonna up the ante. On good authority, based on file sizes mostly. I know this is not a short series. If we can get to 1,000 in 13 likes, well then I'll cast another series tomorrow. Not that this one won't be the best series of all time. And I'll probably do it anyways. But if we get there, that extra motivation. We still got the Funky Maps tournament, the Bronze League heroes. But I saw MaxPax's versus Clem, and I had to take a look. So I hope you agree. It was worth watching. Thank you guys for all the support over the last week and also 10 years. YouTube recently pointed out that that's how long I've been uploading just about. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I made your day a little bit better. So buckle in, buckle up, buckle down, as it's time for MaxPax's versus Clem. First, Reaper still alive, one Marine down in trade for an Adept from MaxPax's, who's kicking it off with his trademark Twilight. Clem, on the other hand, a bit more bio-focused. He's got a siege tank on the way, an engineering bay, as well as, so it's going to be a 2-base tank push timing up against a more middle-of-the-road Blink with a Robo. So, yeah, starting it off with some aggression. They're both going to have 2 bases only to kick it off. And about as much production as you can reasonably expect while still having any opportunity to get more economy. How much information does MaxPax's have? He has seen only the 1 Rax in the reactor. And in fact, Clem built a Cyclone in a bunker. The way he set this up makes it very much look like he's teching up. Like he's intending on going up towards a Raven or a Widowmine drop or something like that. But when he comes out swinging with the Bio Army, or at least he bashes up against the Blink Stalkers, that's going to be something else entirely. In Clem's time, he's kind of intended to slam the Stalkers and take advantage of a Protoss who might want to take a 3rd base behind. But MaxPax's does have those Stalkers. Double bunker to start. We have most of the units in the main going for that first bunker. Repair is good, but the Blink Stalker targeting is better. Takes the Ghetto Blinks back into the Prism. Beautiful micro. Just impeccable. And he loses a Stalker the moment I say it, but near impeccable micro out of MaxPax's. Still though, because of the sheer unit count, Clem not slouching here. He respects MaxPax's Blink micro. Very clearly, getting that second bunker was the difference between... Whoa! Oh, it was an SCV scout. Okay. Not sure what he was blunking on there, but... MaxPax's keeping the pressure on. Clem holding those siege tanks inside the main for now. Blunks in. Wow. Killing the tanks in a single volley, but the second one gonna get some extra damage, and Stim is done, and the Marauders are doing terrible, terrible damage to the Stalkers. Getting the tanks, though, is the key part of all this. Honestly, you know who MaxPax's is reminding me of right now? Parting. The willingness, the decisiveness to just blink in. You cannot hesitate for any fraction of a second, because one more tank hit, one more second, quite literally, of DPS from the Bio Army can make or break this push. And MaxPax's at this point clearly not intending to kill Clem, instead finding it much more likely that he is going to go for something of a contain as he works towards the charge lots and +1 behind. Clem is just now getting his starport which means no medevacs for a while, and he's kind of resigned himself to sitting in the base until that, especially losing 2 of those tanks, which you wouldn't expect. 8 stalkers down, but the 2 tanks make up for it. If we didn't get that second tank, I think Clem's moving across the map right now, but... Templar Archives, back in MaxPax's natural. He only has 4 gases in total, has some at the 3rd base. So mostly focused on that charge lot unit production, but with an option for Archon. So I seriously doubt we're going to see Storm, but if he's able to get to Storm, of course, that's going to be amazing. Alright, 2 medevacs on the way. Clem quite delayed in all this through the repeated aggression. +1 weapons is completed. Combat shield joining it. Concussive shells is done. Though +1 infantry weapons is still a pretty long way off. So the Blink Stalker is not going to be too afraid. And he does go for Storm. So he's trying to ping Clem down. Ooh. The stimmed units chasing down the Stalkers. Another stim. Clem living life on the edge. Not too much HP left to go past the stim addictions. And Clem is, he's taken quite a while in putting together a push to move out. Barracks at the front to create something of a choke point. Medevacs revealed. Not that they're going to be a surprise. Charge lots find their way in. 3rd command center slightly delayed, picks up the charge lots and gets out with the prism. So important. He stims again. Clem keeps hitting the needle. But not going to be able to chase down the prism as MaxPax knows exactly what's going to happen. Not just out of instinct. He had an observer spotting it the whole time, so didn't really have to take any guesses there. Well, some inclement weather, if you would, upcoming. As Storm is completed. Scan spotted. Templar traded into the prism. Wait, does he have 2 prisms? No, he put the Templar inside. I don't think Clem's quite ready for this. Drops the Storm. He was pre-splitting. Storms don't find too much. Medevac's holding on. Tanks down again. But the Bio Army is still intact. I think there's enough energy for maybe 1 more. Yes, 1 more Storm could devastate this army, but for now it's looking okay. A Bio Army over to the right flank. 9 probes down. Charge lots on the other side. Storm wards away, but it's not enough to stop the Bio. The drop heads towards the main. Pylons will spot it, but there's almost nothing to directly respond. The damage on the other side is not nearly as well. Oh my god, those Marauders are a strong gust of wind away from being taken out. Unfortunately, no Storms on the horizon. And more Marauders. The shield battery re-shielding. And this is exactly what I expected from MaxPax versus Clem. Attacks all throughout. You could tell they were holding back. And that's, I think these 2 players, they've grown up a little bit. I say with my aged wisdom here. As someone who is more than twice as old as StarCraft 2, unlike both these players right here. They've both, in their playstyles, calmed down a little bit. They'll no longer attack for the sake of it, but give them an inch and they'll take a kilometer. As both of these players waiting for that opportunity to get the damage done. You could see MaxPax comes in with the charge lots and the counterattack the moment Clem comes across the map, but Clem sees, you ran out of Storm, I'm headed to the main. So, just barely restrained aggression. But that is exactly what you need, I think. Especially at this stage of StarCraft 2. You need... Okay, that doesn't... The rocks don't drop on the whole thing. We're seeing more and more players using those destructible rock towers. As well they should. Creating a little bit of a better choke point. So who comes out on top of that trade? I think pretty decisively it was Clem. As he got some probes, he defended the counter, and he whittled down the unit count of MaxPax quite significantly. I don't know, these SCVs are still repairing. Whereas Clem didn't really lose any key units, partially because he really didn't have key units to lose. As Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs all get replaced pretty easily. Siege tanks were traded out a while ago and aren't that helpful against a mass charge lot composition. So, what are the upgrades? +2. Ground attack versus +1. Oh, EMP lands. Ghost clearly on the field. He's still got some Templar tucked inside the prism. This is a difference from when he played against Beyond just last week, We saw almost no storm in that grueling game where Beyond eventually ground it back with the sheer cost efficiency of Bio. Not a single disruptor this game. I want to point that out. With the Twitch chat / YouTube comment, Grandmaster is correct that storm was the answer. We'll see right now. Clem's asking the question of how do you beat this? The EMPs continue to land. Does he have a battery overcharge? He already used it a while back. Shields at full on the Nexus. Extended thermal lance is now done. Those Colossi can keep things at a further length. Widowmine connects. Softens more up. A counterattack was shut down. MaxPax struggling to keep his supply up here, but he's holding on to his bases, and that's a huge part of this. Widowmine's starting to add up the damage. Overall, in the units lost, MaxPax lost 2k more minerals, about the same amount of gas, 1400-ish. But the charge lot's getting less and less and less value as time goes on. Great game thus far, though. Very much so excited for this series. I was really hoping it wouldn't be Clem just 2 base all-inning as he's... Well, Clem hasn't been doing that for long, but no more meta commentary. Let's see. How about some micro commentary? Is the Metavax weather the storms? Ghost leading the charge. EMP washes over a bunch of the Stalkers, but 3 Colossi tucked in here. Just a couple of Vikings. Not going to be enough to deal with these Colossi head-on. As the Colossi start to burn through the Bio army. 2-1 versus 1-1. Advantage goes to MaxPax. More storms on the back line. Tsunami. Just a cornucopia splash damage here. 1 Colossus down. The Marauders are withstanding most of this, but the Metavacs are actually entirely out of energy, which means the Marauders have to pick up and get out. A single Colossus survives. Charge lots diving in towards the natural. Viking hits the deck in the main. And so far, MaxPax holds on. It looked, if those Metavacs hadn't run out of energy, I mean, if MaxPax hadn't been forcing them out of energy, I think Clem is able to power through that fight. But quite literally, the Metavacs, and I think there were some feedbacks in there, there's a lot going on. But without that, in MaxPax, how many gates? He's got 10 gates. Enough production. Only 1 robo for now, but he's knocking on Clem's door. And, well, we got some Vikings and Metavacs coming out to answer. The War Prism, really keeping it intact. That War Prism is required. 2-2 is not yet done. A few charge lots make it by into the mineral line. Clem at 56 SCVs, which is a tenuous number. MaxPax has had the income advantage for quite a bit. But the Widow Mines, good reaction. Handled. Trying to deal with it, and he has an observer with the army. MaxPax just... He's playing so well right now. Clem, of course, but... all these little details that you really need as Protoss to get those edges against Terran. Against a Terran of this caliber. He's doing it. I don't know if that's going to be enough. As Clem is slowly, but very surely building the right... Oh my, that's awkward. Hello there. Wish you had afterburners, don't you? I want MaxPax to start Gravitic Drive right now, seeing those afterburners. Don't get jealous. Get better. Put that on a mug. Sell it in the merch store. Second robo on the way. Vikings chasing. The Prism actually juked back. Ooh, War Prism still actually found a way in, but the Vikings are going to take it out. There it goes. It's surprised it found that opportunity. Well, Clem rotating around. Observer spotting all this, so MaxPax should be ready for the army. Disruptors being added in, but we haven't seen the final piece of the puzzle. At least of the ground army, which are the Dark Templar, for the double Ds of destruction. The Disruptors and the DTs. Widowmine's taking a bite out of the Zealots, but the Zealots slicing off some more SCVs. Ghosts line up the snipes. We're 16 minutes in and nowhere closer to a conclusion. Both sides maxed out. Both sides great economy. Clem actually struggling a little, to be honest. MaxPax is sitting comfortable, and he has the gateway and the robo count to reproduce, but he wants to take a fight out on the field, so he has the time to do so. Disruptor shot, catches a couple ghosts. Another shot. A chunk of the army. Gets a few more Marauders. So whittling down the army here, but is it enough? Another shot from the high ground and slams into the ghost. Clem not quite ready. EMPs across the board. But the bio army not looking nearly as chunky as it might want to in this fight. Still, though, the Medevac's given some time to heal, and without the Ruptors and a single Colossus, there's not enough damage output from MaxPax's to really challenge this. But charge lots on the opposite side. There's a command center burning. And no SCVs at this base. I think he pulled the SCVs back, and then the charge lots just started slicing through one of the command centers. MaxPax's still at 83 probes right now. But that means Clem's army, which just finished +3 weapons, is huge and very difficult to deal with. How many Ruptors on the field? 3 of them. Looking for a shot. Fade away. Well, not so much, actually. Goes right up behind it. Viking count high enough to knock down a Colossus or 2. More charge lots. Headed to the opposite side. You got to do something to make Clem look away. You got to find a way to land that disruptor shot. Otherwise, or slice into the economy and eventually whittle down the army. And it looks like that second route is going well so far. 11 kills on the charge lots. The last Colossus falls. The disruptor count grows dramatically, though. As without Liberators or siege tanks, it becomes very difficult. It's not impossible, as Beyond has taught us. But Planetary Fortress is done. 50 SCVs, and Clem has to reproduce them. MaxPax's has lost 6,000 more minerals, 23 to 17k right now. But so far, he can afford to do so. How much longer? Right now, Clem caught between a rock and a hard place. Slams into a couple ghosts on the high ground. Weapons go flying. Clem, he caught in a bit of a choke point of his own design after taking down those rocks. Another volley. The double barrel here. Constantly spraying and praying. And sometimes those prayers are answered. Liberator's on the way, but Clem now a decided supply deficit. The army supplies are about the same, but Clem is backed up to his own base, where it becomes more and more. He's just flinging them out there. I do think at some point you got to just stop microing the Ruptor and just throw it out there like a force field. Like, if you miss, you miss. But don't bother microing it. They're gonna micro away. Just throw it out there and cover that particular area. Clem managed to move around. The charge lot is drawing out the Widow Mine hits. Ooh, the Widow Mines find decent connections. More shots, looking for it. Oh, he's just flinging out the row. What a dodge by Clem. The charge lots, though, at the natural. Widow Mines need to burrow. They're a bit late on it. They don't have drilling claws. The reinforcements are going to have to deal with this now. Clem's forced to micro on 2 fronts, and we don't have the picture here. Running out of Medevac's as well. The natural being cut through by the charge lot. Forced back. Planetary being isolated as MaxPax shoves his way around. Oh, and Disruptor's up to the high ground. The Planetary cut down. And MaxPax's is starting to overwhelm Clem's incredibly efficient Terran army. There's just not the Medevac's. He doesn't have enough units to overwhelm the Ruptors. And MaxPax's has done a great job of keeping care of them. Oh, God. Another shot in the center. Clem is running out of real estate. Running out of SCVs. MaxPax's still has 84 probes, and he's got money in the bank. Clem has about equal army supply. Disruptors clipping whatever they can. There's 10 Ruptors on the field right now. But Clem is slowly, but seemingly surely, getting battered down as he's running out of options. The Liberators will siege up. We do end up at this phase, but trying to intercept. Oh, he leads into it. Another shot. Another one. And he's just zoning him out of the base. The Planetary. Just the Disruptors staggered throughout the field. More shots. Disruptors don't do damage to themselves. Oh, but he didn't kill the Planetary. Not like this. Oh, no. Well, I mean, he's still got a lot going for him. He can easily replace his army. And, oh, okay. All right. MaxPax's puts it in the bag, even though it looked like it may slip away. Just those last few moments. At the end of the day, though, MaxPax's takes it home in game 1. Whew, that planetary not dying. Flashbacks. Oh, some really tough games before decided swinging on breaking up against the planetary fortress, but MaxPax's grinds through. Ooh. Now that's what I expected to see from these two, just action-packed. But honestly, now you know what? I'm gonna give MaxPax's a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, because that game that I'm referencing against Beyond, you should watch that series though. It's MaxPax's. Wait, I'm not gonna. But maybe Ping, as it really felt like against Beyond. He was always that close to landing what he needed to land, to hitting what he needed to hit. And honestly, a lot of players get really frustrated with the online tournaments between Europe and Korea. What they usually do is play on they meet in the middle, effectively, and play on the North American server, where both players have like 100 to 150 ping, which is not great, but I think you can really tell. This is MaxPax's at full power. It's not a particularly efficient. It's more Zerg-like than anything. But clearly, with solid control of those Ruptors, Clem just did not get the Liberators out in time. I think MaxPax's did such a good job with the Storm and the Storm timing that he opened up the opportunity to dictate the pace of the game with the Robo units, with the Colossi, and then the Ruptors, because Clem just kept reacting to what MaxPax's was doing. He's reacting to the Storm. He's reacting to the Colossi. By the time he gets the Vikings out, the Disruptors are on the field. By the time he gets the Liberators out, well, he's almost dead. So a great game 1, but we play best of 5. MaxPax's starts things off a bit spicy here. Throws a Zealot out on the field. There was no... Okay. And now time for Micro Trainer. As Clem... Oh! Well, he saves the SCV in there. Yeah, I mean... So, the intent of that. The intent of what Clem just did. And now, this is me... I don't know why I'm feeling to... Like, I need to add a disclaimer here. Like, obviously, I'm not as good as these guys. I want to see them commentating their own games. Okay. Big Gabe says, hold my beer. In perfect English, because of course he does. Actually, Clem speaks great English. I've never talked to MaxPax's because he's just dark on another computer, but... Where was I? This is me doing my best to interpret their strats, of course. What I think is one of the best ways to learn in anything, but specifically in learning strategy games, is to kind of like pause. I'm not going to pause, but if you're at this place at this moment, what are they going to do next, or why do they do that? And what has happened in the game that caused that? Like, that Zealot looked pretty useless, right? Well, that's because Clem didn't go for a Reaper. The intent is, the Reaper comes across the map. A lot of Terrans will be somewhat greedy, and will not scout with an SCV. So Clem didn't scout with an SCV, but he also didn't go for a Reaper. And if there was a Reaper coming across the map, then that Zealot shows up, probably before the bunker is done, and with only a singular Marine. Or no Marines at all. It depends on when you build the reactor. So the Zealot has a good chance to either kill SCVs or even delay the command center. So, but Clem opted for a Marine first opener, and just kind of countered it. And that's kind of that's the chess match of the, or more like the poker match of the openers. Like, you don't know what card they're gonna play to kick things off. Chess match is a little more obvious because, like, you can see the whole board, so the parallel doesn't really work. Poke. That. All right. Phoenixes, by the way, as I stumble around that entire analogy. The Phoenixes much more gracefully glide in and out of Clem's base with incredible finesse. In fact, he's going straight up. Like, this is full-on mech toss right now. As it's going to be Phoenix Colossus with almost no gateway units at all. just a handful for flavor. It's like the Marines you build when you go Mech, which are just a few to get in the way to start. But I mean, eventually you fill out the unit composition with more gateway units. That's the difference from Terran Mech to Protoss Mech. And of course, the Protoss can't repair their mech, which is quite a disappointment. But the Phoenix Colossus is such a strong... Like, on paper, you can counter everything. Of course, we don't play on paper, unfortunately. But, yeah, adding a Sentry, got an Immortal. Colossus is out. Phoenix is still looking for... he's playing near perfect with the Phoenixes. Clem this time playing a bit of a safer expand build. Not opting for any sort of really committed 2-base timing. But if MaxPax's can just comfortably get his 3 bases and his Colossi up. Like, the Phoenixes are about... Ooh, no! Clem was trying to get underneath them and target down some extra Phoenixes instead of just going for the closest. Gets 2. Not bad. And if he can catch the Phoenixes out of position, of course, the Colossi are going to be much more vulnerable back at home. So this is a very brittle build until you can bring your gateway count up. As you are very, very... Yeah... Well, the Phoenix is on the wrong side of the map. I mean... Yeah... Well, they're pilot. Yeah, that's optimistic. I wouldn't be surprised to see a recall of the Phoenixes. He's actually trying to make his way back. MaxPax's a bit supply blocked. Those pylons going down. That's not ideal. Oh, wow. Look at that macro explosion for Clem. They were about even in supply last I checked, like 30 seconds ago. But Clem finished up barracks 5 and 6. Or 4 and 5, rather. And has been... Really, he's kind of hit the SCV count he needs, 67, in order to produce off everything. So he's got a huge army here. MaxPax's, he's going to be hard-pressed to defend all his bases. He has to be proactive. He's got to get out there with the Colossi before the units are knocking on his door. We'll see, though. That's a lot of Terran army spread throughout the map. And that is one less Phoenix and a big bruise on the rest. Yeah, Phoenix is diving back in, trying to get home. Ghosts on the way. Those Whittle Mines are real and present danger. We'll see if he decides to just sacrifice. I don't know if there are any observers here either. Charge is about to finish. A big part of dealing with any of this. MaxPax's spread quite thin. Gets supply blocked again. Oof. That is really rough at this stage. Losing those pylons, I mean, honest mistake, but a mistake as well. As Clem is not slowing down, like, this is not an all-in from Clem at all. Clem actually has more income right now while this is all happening. So, feels like at some point MaxPax's just kind of lost the initiative. And now, if he doesn't make things happen soon, the game will follow. Microing on the left, gunning down the charge lots. 1-1 versus just +1 attack upgrades in favor of Clem. He'll lose the 4th. It's not going great. Clem with a textbook dismantling of this army composition. Whittle Mines drawn out, but is that enough? The ghosts show up. The Colossi, shield stripped away. But guess what? While this was all happening, the Terran army swung in and is tearing apart the Nexus. Clem with a solid, comfortable, and well-executed finisher. Just ripping apart the bases, making it look easy. It did feel... MaxPax's felt like he didn't really fill things in as quick as you usually like to in that sort of scenario. The Phoenix opener very solid, but you quickly have to get your army together. Otherwise, you just kind of, they'll walk it over. Never underestimate the power of a bunch of dudes with drugs and guns. Okay, but enough about my neighbors. We're going in to game 3, all tied up on Ancient Sister. Hopefully you've been enjoying so far. I expect this to be another... Following the trend. This is Ancient Sister. Yes, I already said that, but it's a large macro map, which means it's time for a cute all-in. I don't know which way, but I expect some sort of... I don't think either player wants to really drag it out in this map. That just doesn't... I've got... I swear, I try... we'll break the fourth wall for a moment, but as much as possible, I try not to know who wins, how long the games are, anything like that. Though it's to an extent inevitable. I know the file size of this particular series is quite large. I don't know exactly which games, but I know that means comparing to other file sizes. Now, what determines the file size? Literally how much stuff happens in the game, but also kind of how many observers there were, because they count. So like if a lot of people were casting this game, that might skew it somewhat, but that means it was probably pretty interesting. This is the ESL Cup Finals, the Big Gabe Weekly, though there's a significant lack of Big Gabe. I'm not sure. One of these players beat him to get here. I noticed he was there as well, but Clem and MaxPax's have been, especially MaxPax's, have been really on fire lately. So, anyways, what was I saying? I expect an all-in. I'm not sure what flavor. We have Dark Shrine. Haven't seen that in a bit. That's one of those you can pull out almost any time during the show. You know, the best times for a Dark Shrine are when you're ahead, when you're even, or also one of the best times is when you're behind and they don't expect it. So, Adept Shades. Take a look around. Not gonna find much, but always worth a shot. And most of the shading in is to get a beat on, like, do you have a reactor? How many SCVs? Anything like that. If they make a mistake, they might show a Widow Mine or something like that to the Adept Shade. But that one's kind of rare. This time around, it's going to be another 2-1 here. 2 barracks, 1 factory. Big bio play. On the other side, very similar to Dragon Scales, where we're going to have the robotics facility alongside the Blink. So, and this is the kind of back and forth that really very much comes down to micro. Because I don't think either side has a distinct advantage in the build order, and that's why they're choosing them. They're both choosing this sort of early opener that gives you a lot of agency over the game. Whether it's a whole bunch of bio and tanks, or Blink Stalkers and a Warp Prism. These are very micro-intensive unit compositions, and they don't age well. That's another key part. That's why I say they're very micro-oriented. Because if you just sit in your base, like if Clem sits in his base and MaxPax's had gone Stargate, that's a waste of his units. Now, of course, the Blink Stalkers kick in a little quick. So Clem is going to have to sit back against that, minimize damage until he can strike back. Let's see. No third Nexus yet. MaxPax's prioritizing getting as many Blink Stalkers as possible. The Adept Shades scouting in, getting vision of that siege tank. Very key part of this. One more tank in the main. Blunks in. Goes straight for the tank, but that's a lot of damage coming out. He got several shots at the siege tank, but Ghetto blinking back. Using the prism. And at any point, does he decide... Okay, he doesn't decide to go for the warping, but some good blinks. Still, though, well, you only lost 2 Stalkers. It felt like a lot more. But if he can get in before another siege tank, and there isn't one, it's still a long way off. He's looking for anything he can get, but the lack of siege tank is huge there. MaxPax's playing it about as safe as you can while sending your entire army into your opponent's base. Now the Marauders still do terrible. Let me try one more time. Edit that out, Jimmy. Okay. The Marauders still doing terrible damage to the Stalkers. There. All right. First take every time. That's a lot of Stalkers, though. He's really committed to it. The third Nexus is on the way, but MaxPax hasn't been building probes. He's just now getting Charge and a Forge, which are the admissions that he probably won't end the game with Blink Stalkers, but Clem is not... Clem has full respect for this, as he's keeping things tucked in back at home. He's got SCVs were pre-pulled to potentially repair at the front. He actually pulled them back here, but more siege tanks dotting the field. Yeah, he's just now finishing the starport and slapping a reactor on it for those medevacs. And once again, we're in that position. Did MaxPax do enough damage to slow Clem down and get the replay? So I was wrong. No all-in, no crazy timing, just another aggressive macro blink. Oh, it's such like, you don't usually think of it as a macro build because it feels very committed to throw all your units into your opponent's main, but MaxPax is really using them. He's reminding me so much of Parting. With that decisive blink. When you really want to go for it, you go for it, but right on the edge of siege tank range, picking off what he can without biting off more than he can chew. Very stressful. And believe me, this is incredibly frustrating for Clem. A player who's just that on point with the Blink Star. Did he recall the Prism? Like, where did the Prism go? Okay, recall. Prism headed back out. Thing is, wait, did Clem notice? He may have scouted it, like, just to see if that happened with the medevacs. Because he still has some units in the main, but they're no longer pinned up against the edge, so he may have checked for it. Smart move. Double medevac drop. But MaxPax watching exactly for this. Thing is, even 4 or 5 Marauders are probably enough to give those Stalkers pause. Gonna kill one Marauder, blinking out. Gotta be careful not to overstay your welcome. The knee breakers, the concussive shells, chasing things down. Hallucinated Phoenix even being added in here. I like it. Oh my. Well, that's not a wall, but the Ghost Academy is by there. Now it is. Interesting wall off. Hallucinated Phoenix spots the base landing. MaxPax has plenty of army supply, but is it in the right spot at the right time? As the bio army shows up, the siege tanks will siege. There's not that much in front of this. Ooh, MaxPax losing a lot here, but the orbital, once again, both sides springing into action. A whole lot of damage being dealt simultaneously. Widowmine connects. Extended Thermal Lance is not done in time to maybe save the Nexus? I'm not sure. He's going for it. Blinking on top of the tanks. Dodges the Widowmine shot with the blink, but loses the Colossus. I don't know if killing the tanks is enough. Another mine hit. Oh my god, Clem just turned the game directly on its head. After being poked and prodded by those Blink Stalkers, he just stims across the map and slices the Protoss army to pieces. Not really slices, more like pounds into oblivion with a combination of projectiles. And MaxPax, it wasn't worth it. This time, I can say decisively, it was not worth it. He loses all those Stalkers, he loses the Colossi, he loses the Nexus. For what? Some Marines, Marauder. The siege tanks once again traded out on the altar of an incredible fight. And at this point, you don't even want siege tanks. Siege tanks are not the counter to charge lance. They're not incredible. They're great against Colossi, but their Marauders will stand in just fine. Ghost on the field as well. The Terran army going straight up the gut. And I don't think MaxPax has what it takes to answer. The Widowmines connect. And Clem takes 2. Well. Well. Not ideal. MaxPax's, you gotta toe the line. He doesn't quite find it. Clem has clearly adapted. If he's gonna... when he swings back hard. And now Clem is on match point. Just a single game from taking this ESL Cup weekly. MaxPax's, it's tough. MaxPax's is setting it all up, but I liken sometimes Protoss kind of like building a computer. Alright. It's kind of important to have all the parts. You can't just not have key parts of it. Maybe you can get by without a graphics card or something. But you really need either the sentries, you need your splash damage. You need it all needs to be put together in the right place at the right time. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. It just looks silly. And MaxPax's ends up a little bit out of position. He does some cute blink micro, but ends up doing more damage, or taking way more damage because of it. I love the blink out of the mine onto the tanks, but surprise, there's more mines. And didn't have the extended thermal lance nor enough charge loss. Does he get the probe this time? Not this time. Clem SCV scouting. Oh, don't do it. Oh, you filthy Terran. And your dirty bunker tricks. Which sounds extra filthy. What are you doing back there behind the mineral line with your bunker SCV? You building that bunker? Yeah. One-man job, if you know what I mean. I bet you're gonna salvage it when you're done, too. Like it was never there. Did MaxPax's really not see it? Oh, no. I think he went all the way, just right around the outside. Oh, my God. Well, he sees the bunker now. Oh. Adept just wasn't looking. It's the most annoying thing. Dodging the shots. Clem does this. Clem does this more than any other Terran I know. Is he target firing the... Oh, he's target firing the shield battery. Oh my god. So he's standing up against it, trying to minimize the travel distance of the adept attack to potentially kill the SCV. Oh my god. Winter, you can't just use a bunker as the clickbait thumbnail of every cast you do where there's a bunker at any point. But at the same time, though, God, they're so annoying. He got the shield battery. He got a probe. He got to do the thing. Do the thing. Where you bounce the Reaper with the grenade. Not this time. Well, there were other things happening, believe it or not, despite all the attention paid. Maybe I'll try this time. I've never seen anyone do it consistently. Maru and Clem will occasionally... Is this intentional? He lets it in because he knows he's gonna kill with a clone. So he may lose an SCV. So, well, that's just mean. It's just not very nice. That's it. I mean, it's a trade-off. So Clem guarantees a kill on the Adept, but he gives him the scouting info. There's no way that wasn't an accident. I mean, there's no way that was an accident that he let the Adept in. It's kind of a gentleman's agreement to murder. The Adept will get the scouting information, but it will also die. So, Clem deems it worth it. It looks like, despite the early shenanigans, we're going to end up in a very similar spot to 2 out of 3 of the previous games. We got Blink and 4 gates against the factory and some racks. So, does MaxPax's get enough done this time, or does Clem seal the deal? He's bringing 4 Stalkers in the prism towards the Mech. And then the rest at the natural. Some cute moves here to start. He drags Clem out of the natural. Actually getting a lot of damage done. The bunker, not quite perfectly placed. Blink Stalkers get behind the mineral line. MaxPax's actually drew his army away. Quite a bluff there. Not even a bluff, really, because it could have killed the bunker easily. But the Cyclone desperately trying to lock onto the Prism. The Stalkers trying to block for it. But MaxPax's gets 6 SCVs. But he loses 2 Stalkers. And he kind of showed his hand there. Well, and now there's 2 bunkers at the natural. There is a 4th base behind. It looks like MaxPax's is going to go down the mask. No, there's a Robo Bay. I really thought he might try the mass charge lot style this time around. That is an incredibly obvious observer. Yeah, MaxPax's no, Clem slapped down a turret as well. I mean, good for DTs. Also zoning observers. The observer existing in the main at all. Oh, recall already happened on the Prism. If you're going to recall it, you should probably wait. Or did he just get out? No, he recalled. And he's already back in. He goes straight for the tanks. And wait a second, this game just got a lot more dramatic. He's trying to juggle. Yeah, he had the cooldown, the blink. That was a straight up win. He gets out. No losses. Maybe one stock. 2 tanks, though. That severely blunts the potential push from Clem here. The tanks, while they've gone down, they haven't usually gone down quite so easily. And without the tanks, the Colossi become a lot stronger against the first push. Even 1 or 2 of them. All right. +1 attack on the way for both players. Clem with a bit of an advantage, has it over half. With MaxPax's at only 1/3. He spotted, oh my god, he spotted the medevacs with the observer there. They'll expect 2 of us in the wreckage, brothers. Clem kills the offending observer. The Blink Stalker still chasing, though. There's units on the ground, salvaging the bunkers. Clem opening up the natural a bit, looking for more opportunities. Marauders on the ground. Picks up a single medevac. Oh, this is shaping up as a... quite a game. You can feel it. The tension mounts. This time around, though, MaxPax's does have the economy, and he sniping off those tanks and zoning out the medevacs has been a huge deal. He's got a Spylon. He's got an observer. He should have seen that medevac come out. He did! He did! Clem's looking the other way! Ooh. Unfortunately, we don't have the minimap cams enabled for this series. A wag of the finger to whoever's hosting. But +1 ground weapons done now for MaxPax's. Charge lot. Oh my god, the Widowmine's bait out of the way, but then... what? Okay. Out of respect, the command center lifts yet again. Sits right back down. Oh, Cybercore. Vulnerable at the Reaper wall. Clem with quite a bio ball here. MaxPax's trying to blink out. The Cybercore is still intact for now. Few charge lots. Medevac's chasing them. Bit of a weird scenario. Oh no, he lost them! Warp Prism. Oh, that's a big deal. That lack of Prism means significantly less chance of counterattack, and that means Clem can focus most of his efforts on being aggressive. Which, you know, is like his favorite thing, so... Charlot sneaking in. Widowmine take 1 of them. Other 2 softened up. MaxPax's. Well, this observer, does he not expect the ops? Oh my god. He didn't expect it at all. And MaxPax's waits. He holds. Almost gets 2. It's the observer's super obvious here, but he can chase down the rest. Huge plays out of MaxPax's. Chases down 1 of the medevacs. Gonna get that last one. Or he's either going to get it, he's going to get it, and all the units. And that opens up the map a bit for Clem to come in. A recall on top of the Nexus. I don't know, Kev. Oh, he blinks out, but... a bit of a panic there. There's the Terran army on top of everything. But no armory done yet. That's actually going to be quite a nice thing to note for MaxPax's, that he's still able to deal with those mines, which means 2-2 is not on the way. Clem is really focused on getting damage done on these earlier units. And right now, the fact that he can be aggressive at all. Killing 3 medevacs does open up the map. And now the third base under attack. The command center itself in trouble, burning now. Vikings being targeted, just wandering into the fray. The Stalkers are able to deal with it. 25 SCVs have died, mostly due to the Zealots and the Natural. Though also the Colossi doing a number on absolutely everything, burning through. And MaxPax's drags us to Game 5. Whoa. With some smart observer plays. Clem getting caught on the double-edged sword of medevac aggression. And what did I say? 1,013 likes. I'm upping it. 1,015 likes. All right. Now, I don't even know if you can see the counter once it gets past 1,000. I think you can just hover over, but I'm not. Or, I mean, like, I have an add-on for it, so you can see the dislikes as well, so you can add to that. But, Game 5! I kind of suspected we would get here, but I wasn't sure. I'm glad to see it. As MaxPax's has taken just as large of a bite out of Clem as Clem has of him, which is a weird way to phrase it. But, one more time. Unless it's a draw and we have another game, but we have MaxPax's with his top-tier Blink micro. I don't know why I yelled like that, but... And Clem with his just incredible micro. You can't just say very good. Well, I mean, obviously they're very good. They made it this far. This is pretty much the largest, at least weekly tournament. MaxPax's, of course, only playing the online tournaments. Clem has not been able to replicate the success he's found online in on LAN tournaments as much. But this is still his bread and butter biscuit. I have no idea what to expect from altitude. The map that... So, let's think. I know, very hard. Grezvin was vetoed. And then... It'll come to me. It's harder to think of the things that didn't happen. Oh, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Oh my god. Okay, edit this out. There's one more map in the pool. That won't be played. I'm just trying to figure out who vetoed what. Dragon Skills, Royal Blood, Babylon. Altitude. Ancient Cistern. Neo-Humanity. Interesting that got vetoed over altitude. I can't read into it too much. Both those maps are a little bit different. Both of them do not have ramps, the natural, which can define a lot of playstyles, at least openers. Clem obviously not a huge fan of that against the Blink Stalkers, though Protoss also not a fan against Terran in general, as most units are ranged and can take great advantage of a lack of a ramp. Reaper's now racked up 2 probe kills, but the Adept, they're gonna shade right on. Ooh, Bronze League heroes be proud. That beautiful, so slick command center micro. Yes, command center micro. Feels weird to say, but the most accurate representation. And it appears MaxPax's, he tried, I will say, this Stargate into, like, the Stargate Colossus build it just feels too brittle. The reason it was so good in like Wings of Liberty and to an extent Heart of the Swarm, for many reasons, a lot of builds have not been as popular in the 8 years of Legacy of the Void, is very simply the economy. Like, Terran players could not nearly as easily transition from like Vikings to Medivacs, or have them out even as quickly, so you kind of have to choose between Vikings and Medivacs, whereas in Legacy of the Void, it isn't particularly difficult to have both Medivacs and Vikings out in a relatively high number in a timely fashion, like before they can get 3 or 4 Colossi. So, Phoenix Colossus, instead of really giving you momentum, instead relies on catching air units out of position, which is just not going to happen as regularly against someone like Clem. Ooh. Speaking of catching out of position, though, gets one adept, another driven away. Small mistake on MaxPax's. Keeping one alive, though, will continue to shade in and get the scout. Engineering bay is part of a semi-wall here as well. Oh, the Reaper. Oh. Blinks over the grenade. Giving away the blink in case it wasn't clear. Oh, whoa, okay, he blocked right in. I kind of zoned out there for a second, but then the Winterstarcraft went and killed the tank. There are 2 tanks on the high ground, so continuing that is going to be ill-advised. But, wow, what a slick blink that was. And notice he's blinking like 1 stalker in a head, or using the Adept Shade, in order to tank the tank damage, because it's very hard to retarget the tanks on their first volley. So that is what MaxPax's is really using here, but... Ooh, trying to minimize the damage, but the tanks are still hitting. The rest blink out. It ain't happening here. Like I said, perfect time for a Dark Shrine, based on the previously mentioned criteria. Oh, Blunk's in the... The tank's out of position. He spotted it with the Observer. Now the bunker's gonna go down, overwhelmed by the Blink Stalker volley fire. Another tank on the high ground. That will put a timer on all this, but gets 5 SCVs and the bunker, and that's gonna make Clem's life significantly more difficult. And the twist, I love that. Game 5. I don't even think it's that big of a risk, as if you manage it well. Like, right now he's doing economic damage. So that means that he should have a bit of buffer here. As long as he doesn't lose all his Blink Stalkers, which is kind of an if, but as long as he keeps the Stalkers alive, then DT shouldn't be a huge risk and have potentially, like, it's like medium risk, high reward is what I put the DTs at. As, once again, if he keeps those Stalkers alive, he can probably buy enough time to make the DTs valuable, even if they are detected or taken out immediately. And this time it's Clem who's the one getting supply blocked at a key timing. He loses a depot. Yeah, okay. I think he dropped one, or... Yeah, he dropped a depot in the back. And has a few more finishing. Dark Templar! Oh my god. He just wanders in. There's gonna be a scan in 3 or 4 seconds. Probably gonna want to get that. But the DT, like, he's not messing around here. There's a scan. The Observer kind of also there, so not ideal. But there's not a second scan. He saves! Okay. Gets 2 scans, kills some of the units, forces out turrets. MaxPax's a relatively... drops in another. The DT. Whoop. Saves it. And, yeah, gonna make life very difficult. The Blink Stalkers, though, stimming, catching. Oh, Clem feeling... Well, look at the supply, actually. I thought that was backwards for a sec, but no. Just because he had to scan a couple times hasn't slowed down his production much. This Clem still has 64 SCVs. He's got 75 army supply against 45. The DTs do cut into your standing army. They are expensive, both the Dark Shrine and I'll get there. The DTs themselves. That one just dies. Oh, almost kills the turret, but 4 SCVs down. Extended Thermal Lance is on the way, +1 for MaxPax's. He's really trying to play an aggressive defense here, as he knows Clem's army is probably large enough to walk across the map. If Clem just walked across the map right now, MaxPax's may very well die. But Clem can't take the risk because of the potential counterattack, and he doesn't know what he's facing on the other side. It's just such a huge question mark, because if it's mass charge lot and you move out at the wrong time, they run you down, and that might be what Clem thinks is happening. He's getting some Vikings now, but because charge lots in, like, Blink into DTs, into Colossus, and now charge lots, well, it's more likely than you'd think. Well, another game where MaxPax's has tried to contain the Clem for as long as possible, but now Clem's out on the map, and things are gonna get a bit more crazy. Here come the charge lots into the main. 2 Vikings now. War Prism getting almost taken out immediately. A few units into the natural, going to be shot down. Alongside that Prism, Clem actually backs off all the way. MaxPax's now. DT Blink, +2, +1, warping in 10 charge lots at a time. But here comes Clem, looking to take his 4th base. He's got the armor, he's got the Ghost Academy, he's already got Vikings on the field. So all the pieces are coming together for both sides. We got the double Ds of destruction, the Disruptors, and the Blink Dark Templar. So it's going to get even more dangerous in even greater fashion. Stalker was blocking the base for a moment, scouts the 4th. MaxPax's putting himself out there still. Marauding groups of Marauders. Oh. Oof. Armory is done, scouting the most painful way. A Widowmine hit directly to the Stalker. The Vikings as well. +2 ground attack. Now completing for MaxPax's, investing all this chrono boost. +2, +2 on the way for Clem, about halfway done on the +2 weapons. He actually, like, he's clearly wanting to move out, but he's waited till 200 supply. He's locked it down. MaxPax's has not built the army to challenge him, at least on the open field yet. Though they're both about to be at 200 supply, so there's not much else to wait for. Besides maybe upgrades, but Clem's still pretty far off. Don't want to give up too much map control. So much detection over to the left flank, just in case. You'll never be too careful. MaxPax's was killing his own Stalkers to kill a Widowmine there. I'm not sure he needs the Stalker so much anymore. Disruptor shot. Oh, he throws it through. Curves one in, but wow, okay. That was quite a fight. But the Disruptors on their own are always going to be micro practice for a Terran. Charge lots, a little bit of everything, almost everywhere. But still, tense, but not too many losses on either side. Even with the Blink Stalkers earlier. Three ghosts on the way. Oh, Widowmine still at that watchtower. Annoying. But the Disruptors are, of course, dangerous. +1 ship weapons about to finish for the Vikings. Looking to stand off against the Colossi. Where's my Colossus headbutt upgrade? That would make it fair. Walk up and slam the Vikings into the ground. Two very strong armies from Clem. MaxPax doesn't have his army split well enough to be able to deal with it on the right flank. Disruptor dies. Oh, if he drops the rocks on the tower while he's sitting under it, could we see it? We've seen a few players take down the tower thing and take the base, but dropping it on the army, that's for dark. Well, we all know MaxPax is dark on another computer, so how appropriate that would be. Another base denied, as MaxPax struggling to really make much purchase on the map. He's still building disruptors. We got a fusion core, almost certainly for advanced ballistics, but no Stargate for MaxPax at all. No attempt at that ultra late game. He's gone straight to the Raptors this time, not trying the Storm like he did in game 1. Honestly, the Storm didn't get too much for him. It ended up being the Disruptors anyways. But here comes MaxPax. He doesn't want to be too inefficient, but at the same time, you don't really want Clem to take the initiative either. So it's a very careful and dangerous balance against the Terran army in the open field, as Clem is very unlikely to take critical damage to Disruptors. But at the same time, what else? Well, the Dark Templar warped in. Not quite enough, I think, to kill a planetary. Slicing through a turret. Another one replacing it. Getting chased down here. Oh, he dodges an EMP, but another shot with a Disruptor. Observer killed incidentally. Things are going to get even more dramatic, as these armies are so incredibly dangerous to each other. Blink Stalkers blinking, Vikings over the top, Disruptors zoning on the ground. Vikings are just chasing the Colossi. The Stalkers trying to help, but down to one Colossus here. +2 ship weapons isn't even done yet. A huge damage upgrade for the Vikings and especially the Liberators. The +2 damage upgrade allows them to 2-shot Stalkers. 1 shot if they get EMP'd. It essentially invalidates Stalkers as an anti-air unit against Liberators on anything but when they can't shoot back. But the Disruptors throwing through a dangerous game. Ooh, they line up the shots for the snipes, and the Zealots get the Zealots and get slammed by the Ruptors. Those goes. More units into the main. The DT's made it here. Is there still a siege tank somewhere at the third, firing up into the main? Vikings on the ground to deal with the DTs. He closes the door, blinks over the top, slices through the rest. So many different ways to circumvent the defender's advantage. Not so much advantage anymore as he blinks in. Liberators, but a lot of the units, the Vikings, were brought back. A few siege tanks kind of abandoned out on the field. Observers, there's only a couple observers, so Widowmans could still be very dangerous. MaxPax trying to isolate Clem, box him out of his top left base. And this is the only really fresh mining base. He still has the 4th to the north. But past that, not too much. Disruptor shots, flung out, full volley, broadside connects. A few are saved by the medevacs, but not the majority of the ones targeted. But at the same time, though, DT is swinging in. Third base under attack. The Scythes are slicing, eviscerating the defenses. The Disruptors, though, point-blank range, fires off another volley, unloading the whole magazine here. And who has magazines nowadays? MaxPax was born after they stopped existing. Okay, that's not even a good joke. That's a good joke. They're not even keeping up with the tempo of the game right now. A very high-paced game. You make a terrible joke. Joke of a caster, indeed. Oh, now you really lost the momentum. But neither of these players has a clear advantage, just like I have no clear point to my sentences. As we go into the 17-minute mark, still near 200 supply. 62 to 84 workers, but remember mules. Clem shooting his own command center instead of the charge lots here. Speaking of command centers, orbital lifts. Disruptors going forward. Planetary under fire. Leads into one of the Raptor hits. Liberators will siege up at the right flank and get shut down. Will the charge lots? Liberators everywhere. 2 Stargates on the way, as MaxPax acknowledges that liberation is at hand, so he has to rise above. Is it going to be Tempest? The DTs going past. There's an observer on everything here. The DT's getting chased out, trying to blink out. He blinks into a recall. The ultimate blink. We don't have... No, he blinks to the nearest nexus, which is unfortunately under fire from the Liberators. A fleet beacon is on the way. Calm down for just one moment. And more Marauders. shots. Oh, he's hold position here. Charge lock from both sides. Disruptors through the liberation zones. The Marauders carving out some more space on the map. The Disruptors point blank range. Big hit, but loses a bunch of the Raptors simultaneously. Liberators sieging. The Zealot is the only one the Disruptor connects with. And MaxPax's is exhausting most of his bank, but so is Clem, who's not able to land his base on the right. +1 air weapons is on the way. And still, Clem has not solidified his place in this game. He's done a lot of damage, but MaxPax's, I think, is getting the Tempest out in time to match it. The air army is now larger than ground. He's got 5 Vikings. He's got 15 Liberators. And the probes are transferring, or is he just getting rid of them? It's unclear. As another attack trying to carve out the base to the south, whereas the DTs over to the 2 o'clock. Gonna slice through 11 SCVs, 8 probes down. Still unclear how many of those were intentional. Building armor's on the way. A turret plus Liberator combination is a pretty solid defense against the DTs. 19 probes down. Another Nexus with them. MaxPax's on the ropes here, but Clem is right there with him, as it's still not very clear who's coming out on the better end of these trades. They say don't base trade a Terran, but at the same time, the Tempests have hit the field, can start chipping through the Liberators, but he needs more than a chip. He needs to take a chunk out of this right now. The Disruptors, dangerous to everyone involved. Shield battery overcharge. It's barely enough. Barely not enough. I take it all back. The Vikings helped far too much. And the Tempest, while it survived a few extra valleys, that might be enough to close in with the rest of the army. The Liberators are coming back, flanking on the ground, trying to target down the Liberators. There's just too goddamn many. There's too many Liberators right now. Oh, the DTs are coming back into the north. He's got 1 holding position, EMP for detection. And losing a few more Dark Templar are so valuable. Clem is still maxed out, but the Tempests are working their way through the Liberators. It's taking way too long, though. The Liberation is just chewing through every single ground unit that has the audacity to go into the Venn diagram of freedom here. He can't really give up this base. That's a lot of his production, but he has to. Clem's not giving him a choice. Curves a Ruptor shot. Save it with the Medevac. What a play. Clem, just too much. He's tearing through everything on the ground. The Liberators are still more than enough. The Tempests just don't do the damage in time. Oh, but this time the Liberators maybe wandered a bit too far forward. Another Disruptor shot. Another volley from the Tempest. Another shot as well. The Liberators unloading. Almost two-shotting those Disruptors. But they don't quite have the damage output. MaxPax's. Oh, he's not dead. He's not dead. But he is one bad fight. Not even one bad fight. One even fight away from dead. He cannot take trades anymore. He has to take wins. Those are the only choices left. He does have the Tempest. Unfortunately, he gave up so much ground to the Liberators. He just simply couldn't fight underneath the Liberation zones. It's just too much damage. He tried, but so many Zealots and Stalkers died in the process. MaxPax's has lost 11,000 more minerals. But the Liberators are caught out in front. And if he can whittle down enough of them, the Disruptors become very dangerous again. They're still dangerous here, but that is what is zoning out so many of the Ruptors. Oh, another Nexus. Clem closing in from every angle. And by every angle, I mean mostly directly from the front. But enough of it. He's trying to whittle down, but the Viking count is too damn high. The Liberators are still zoning. If the charge lots try to close in, it's not going to be enough. Clem's momentum is high enough right now to carry him through. All he needs is to seal the deal. MaxPax's, it's been a hard-fought series. 5 games. And none of them particularly easy for either player. And I do think, like, if he had gone for the Stargate a little quicker, like, not 2 minutes, like 1 minute, 2 or 3 more Tempests as that push came in. But while he tried it, he did seem a bit reluctant to go down that road. And that time cost him. As right now, the +3 attack on the Vikings and the Liberators clearly getting the value. Still an insanely dangerous army out of MaxPax's. Those observers stacked on each other. Obviously doesn't have too much time to micro. Clem going with the divide and conquer. He's still at 200. There is a world in which MaxPax's can pull this back. But probably not this world. As the EMPs, even with the most juicy disruptor shots, with the greatest kiting, it's not going to be enough. As Clem holds on against a tenacious MaxPax's. But at the end of the day, the Terran army is too strong and Clem's multitasking is too much. He takes it 3 games to 2. But a true back and forth. I think we saw the full progression of the tech tree there from both sides. Pretty much the end game. MaxPax's just a little slower on reaching that air superiority. And it ends up costing him the series. But never say they didn't put the work in. A full 5 games. Thank you for spending much of your day with me enjoying that. And hopefully you did. Hopefully I made your day a little bit better. Remember, 1,000 and, what do we say, 15? 15 likes. We'll cast another one tomorrow. We'll probably do it anyways. If you got recommendations, make sure to put them in the comments. And otherwise, thank you for watching. See you next time. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.